For the generation of AM signals, the first thing which we require are modulators. So modulator are used for modulation, and obviously modulation can be achieved in many ways. Some of them are discussed in this lecture. First is your multiplier modulators. Modulation in these is performed directly by multiplying mt by cos omega ct using an analog multiplier where output is directly proportional to the product of two input signal. So it will, if you have inputs as m1t and m2t, and there is a, can say, multiplying factor of k, then the output will be k m1t into m2t, where k is a constant representing gain of the amplifier which is used for the product of m1 and m2. This is a linear time varying system, or you can say it is LTI system we studied in signal processing. The next one is non-linear modulators. Modulation can also be accomplished by using a non-linear devices. The perfect example of a non-linear device is a semiconductor diode or a transistor. The characteristics equation of such devices is of the form I is equals to A square plus B square. So basically E is your input voltage or diode. So if you remember then I'm talking about an ideal diode here, because I'm showing that the conduction process takes place at zero also. So as you keep on increasing the voltage, the current keeps on increase until it goes to a saturation value. Okay, so now if we have this, so this is basically a kind of a circuit of you might have used in full wave rectifier in your electronics or electrical in first year. Okay, so if you have a MT on this side and you have cos omega ct here, so if you remember, you will be using a full wave rectifier, so there will be a diode here and there will be a diode on this side, and you might be using some transformers to provide you the voltage on these sides. So it will be MT, and this will be a non-linear element. When I'm saying non-linear element, it can be a transistor or it can be a diode, and then you have a resistance. So the circuit on this side will be of this. You apply a potential here, current flows through R and it comes here. Okay, here again it's like this, it goes like this. So current is I2 on this direction, and then a band pass filter which is centered at plus minus omega c is used, and the k term comes from these non-linear elements in some way. So it will be k mt cos omega ct. It comes like this. So then if we use some transformers for generating the signals, so the coils, the turns of the coils, if you remember from electrical circuit, will be used to define how much the potential is getting here and here. So on the secondary side we are using equal, so we are dividing half on this side, half on this side, and we are using a diode here. So if you remember I'll explain it on the next page. So the circuit will be of this form, then you have a capacitor and this inductor. They both are working as a filter here. So if you remember that XC, just let me bring the pen. So if you remember that we have XC is equals to 1 upon omega C, and XL is equals to, this is L, omega L. So when you have a DC voltage, this will be infinite. So the capacitor will provide an infinite resistance to or impedance to a DC voltage. So you can say it will not allow any DC to flow through it. In a similar way, for DC, this omega L works as xc equals to 0, because omega will be equals to 0 for DC. DC means there is no frequency in it, or you can say omega is equals to, or f is equals to 0, omega is also equals to 0. So then XL will be equals to 0. So it offers no resistance or no impedance to the DC. So you can say it allows all the DC to flow through it. So in this way, these are working as a band pass filter here. So you can say the figure A represent characteristics of a non-linear device diode. A generalized non-linear DSB-SC non-linear modulator is shown here, and a so if we see that voltage E1 and E2 modulator given by, let me bring the presence of a non-linear device known as diode. The voltage E1 and E2 are given by E1 will be equals to cos omega CT plus MT. You have to apply here KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, in the first loop and then in the second loop. So E1 will be equals to cos omega CT plus MT, and E2 will be equals to cos omega CT minus MT. Therefore, current and I1 and I2 are given by I1 will be equals to AE1 plus BE1 square. Then put the value of E1. I2 will be equals to A cos omega CT minus MT plus B cos omega CT minus MT square. And the output voltage is basically V naught will be equals to I1 minus I2R. You have to again apply KVL in the outer loop, and I hope you know it, how to apply KVL. So then it will be 2R. Why 2R? Because one of the components will cancel out of them, and the remaining will be twice. So it will be, you can say AMT can be filtered using a band pass filter tuned at omega C. So if we want to do this, then we can use a band pass filter tuned at omega CT, then we will get AMT as output. This is not A, it's basically A into MT when we are using this A as a constant. Another one is switching modulators. The above multiplication operation required for modulation can be replaced by a simpler switching operation. A modulated signal is obtained by multiplying MT not only by a pure sinusoid means sine or cosine signals, but by any periodic signal phi t of the frequency omega c. So we can use now that Fourier series here. So Cn is the coefficient of Fourier series, and cos n omega ct plus theta n. So therefore MT into phi t will be equals to, this shows that the spectrum of the product here, MT into phi t is spectrum m omega shifted to plus omega plus minus omega c plus minus 2 omega c and so on. If you remember, Fourier series is basically series of you can say your fundamental frequencies shifted by plus minus omega c plus 2 omega c and so on. So when this signal is passed through a band pass filter of bandwidth equals to 2b hertz and tuned at omega c, then we get the desired modulated signal C1 MT into cos omega ct plus theta. Now finally we are on generation of AM signals. We know now the different types of modulators. So using non-linear modulators, using figure of modulator, there are upper and lower part of modulator. So we are using, I can't go back on the slide, but we are using the circuit like a full wave rectifier with two diodes in it. So the output of upper modulator is I1R. So it will be I1R, and then you put the value of I1 there, which we calculated on the previous page, and then you open it. So you can say that this part is your AM signal, and you have to suppress this part by band pass filter, or you can say you have to remove this part using a band pass filter. So last three terms are suppressed. We can say that a bridge or full wave rectifier are not required. Some output can be achieved using a single diode circuit as explained on next page. So now what we are saying here is that instead of using two diodes, or you can say instead of using a full wave rectifier, we can just use one single diode and still will be able to achieve the same output. So we can do the generation in this way. C cos omega ct is the carrier signal, mt is your message signal or modulating signal. We use a diode here, and then a resistance between B and B dash here. We are using a band pass filter centered at omega c, and then we are getting output V naught t. So the input is basically addition of these two with C, with making sure that the amplitude of this C is always greater than mt. Why? If you remember the function of a diode, so in order for the diode to conduct, or you can say if you are using an ideal diode to provide a short circuit or to allow the signal to pass through it, you can say, then it should be forward biased. So it will be forward biased when the voltage on this side is greater than this side. So in order to make sure that this is always forward bias, that C must be, means this amplitude must be greater than mt for all values of mt. So that diode switching action is controlled by this signal, not by this signal. So the diode opens and shorts periodically with cos omega ct, in effect multiplying the input signal with kt due to the amplifier circuit. So the amplification achieved here is depends on kt. So we are using amplification here. So then the input here will be on, or you can say the potential between these 2 points will be VB dash T will be equals to addition of these multiplying by kt. So you can say it will be of this form. We are using this kt as a series of Fourier series. So we can say that this is 1 by 2, this 2 cos omega ct minus 1 upon 3 cos 3 omega ct, and so on. This is the one which I explained, that plus minus omega ct plus minus 2 omega c plus minus 3 omega ct in the previous page, on the previous page. So this will be c divided by 2 omega ct, thus when you multiply this part inside, so this is your am and the remaining are your the signals which are need to be suppressed by band pass filter. Now how to do the demodulation of AM signal can be achieved using coherent or synchronous demodulation of AM. This detection does not align to the properties of AM, therefore 3 non-coherent methods are used for AM modulation. Why this is not aligned? Because you have to provide a very complex circuit. You have to ensure that the signal you are generating is of same amplitude, same frequency as you used in modulation. So the first one, when you are using non-coherent means different signals will be used. The first one is rectifier detection. When AM signal is applied to a diode and a resistor is shown below, to a resistor as shown below, the negative part of the AM wave is clipped due to the on-off action of diode. I forgot to mention here removed, so it will be removed here, removed, this part will come here. Okay, so A plus mt cos omega ct means at the receiver the signal received is this, it will be applied to a diode, again a resistance, and there we were using a band pass filter, here we are using a low pass filter. Band pass filter allows certain frequencies to pass and the remaining frequencies to block, or you can say particular band is passed and the remainings are blocked. Low pass filter allowed up to a certain frequency and then it blocks after that particular frequency. So a low pass filter is used here, a capacitor is used here in order to ensure that DC is blocked, which is going to this point. So the output across the resistor is rectified version of the AM signal. The AM signal is multiplied by KT. The rectified output at point B applied to LPF is, so the point applied here is, say it is A plus MT cos omega pi. A plus again MT KT is of the same other terms of higher frequencies. So when you will use a LPF, low pass filter of cutoff frequency B, then this signal will remain. So at point C, due to the capacitor, DC part is blocked. So this part will be blocked by, you can say A upon pi, A divided by pi will be blocked by the capacitor and you will get this output. Second method is your envelope detector, or you can say envelope detection method. In an envelope detector, the output of the detector follows the envelope of the modulated signal. So this is the circuit. So we are using a diode here, a capacitor, a resistance. Okay. Now for the positive half cycle of input signal, the capacitor C charges to the peak value of the input signal. So for the positive half cycle, you can say this complete is positive, because A is, we make ensuring that A is greater than MT. Then what will happen is that for the positive half cycle, because this is positive, this is also positive, so the diode will act as a short circuit. I have shown it like this. So it will provide the path between this and this. So the capacitor will charge to the maximum amplitude of this A plus MT. Now when the negative half cycle will come, then A minus MT start getting negative. So when it will start getting negative, then this diode will open. So the now capacitor will start discharging through this resistance. It's not getting any input from this side, so it will start getting discharge from this side. So what will happen is that capacitor charged to a maximum value and then it will start discharging to a particular value, but before it can come down, let's say to this point, the another positive half cycle of MT will come, means the positive value comes again. So the capacitor will start charging again, and then the negative half cycle will come, start discharging, and it keeps on going like this depending upon the positive half cycle of MT. So our positive half cycle of input signal, the capacitor C charges to the peak value of the input signal. For negative half cycle, diode will be open circuit. When during the negative half cycle, the input falls below the positive potential stored by capacitor C in positive cycle, the diode will act as an open circuit explained below. The capacitor is also responsible for making it open circuit, because when capacitor charges to a potential C, so the capacitor is on this side and now the negative half potential is coming on this side. So what will happen is that this point is charged to a positive value. So when you find the potential difference between this point and this point, it will always be negative. Even though it is 0, it will always be negative, because this is the negative terminal of the diode. So the potential difference across the diode minus V dash minus Vc is equals to negative. Therefore diode will act as an open circuit. The capacitor therefore discharges through the resistor R at a slow rate. Why slow rate? It depends upon the value of R and C. In the next positive half cycle, when the input signal becomes greater than the voltage stored by capacitor, the diode starts acting as a short circuit again, and then the capacitor starts charging to the new peak value. The discharge point potential is very low, thus capacitor charge changes slightly. So we can say the capacitor voltage changes slightly. During each positive cycle, the capacitor charges up to the peak voltage of the input signal and then decays slowly during the negative half cycle. The output voltage thus follows the envelope of the input. A ripple signal of frequency omega c is caused by capacitor discharge between positive peaks. This ripple can be reduced by increasing the time constant RC. Why this is a time constant? I think you might have studied in your electrical course that tau equals to RC. The unit of R and C makes it the unit equals to the unit of seconds, and they are responsible for charging and discharging in any RC circuit. So we can say that so that the capacitor discharges very little between peaks, RC must be greater than 1 upon 1 divided by omega c. For RC too high, it will not follow the envelope. Therefore, RC must be greater than 1 divided by omega c. But RC must be less than 1 upon 2 pi b. What is 2 pi b? B is the bandwidth of the modulated signal, where B is the highest frequency in MT. Therefore, we can say that omega c, if you change it, omega c must be greater than equals to 2 pi b using these two. The output of envelope detector is A plus MT with a ripple of frequency omega c. The DC term A can be blocked out by a capacitor or simple RC high pass filter. Now third method is your square law detector, or you can say square law detection method. An AM signal can be demodulated by squaring it and passing the square signal through a low pass filter. So phi AM is equals to A plus MT cos omega CT. When we square it, it will be this, and you open the square on this side, it will be A square plus 2AMT plus M square T, and square of this can be written as 1 plus cos 2 omega CT divided by 2. So the output of a low pass filter is this. When you pass it through low pass filter, it will pass only the low frequency component, so this part will be blocked. So you can say we are multiplying this with 1 divided by 2, so it will be this. Or y naught t will be equals to this if we are taking 2 common out of it and a square also common. For a greater than mt, we can say mt divided by a square is too small and can be ignored. So this part can be ignored. So output will be equals to a square divided by 2 plus amt. We can use a capacitor to block this DC part and we will get this modulated signal. Now another one means for single tone modulation, determine the limit on RC to ensure that capacitor voltage follow the envelope for envelope detection. I'm leaving this on you to go through and find out how it's been done. It's basically something belongs to your physics and your electrical circuit also. Thank you.